Okay.
Was when I start dancing. One, two, one, two, one, two.
So then I usually leave up this, because this is, that's the encoding salt. Oh, oh no, that he's one.
With the comments.
Yeah, so the reason you gotta do that is because when we was going $13 an hour, so in 7.5 hours a day.
And the good news is,
Apparently we make money either. So we gotta make a wide gap enough to get teachers.
which, you know,
All right. I mean, we can always move it up and down if you have an issue. We figured separating them. Yeah, for now we're all separate. Yeah. Such a beauty. That's it. Yeah. She said she's
yeah, you didn't have a chance to.
oh, you're delighted.
Yeah, it's not. So if,
Yeah, you can move over here. It's up to you.
I represent the left wing of the board.
Not even gonna go there.
Yeah, I'm not touching that.
Looks like the far left.
I'll be the Bernie Sanders.
You're way far.
You're safe until I decide to say something.
that's awesome.
We're gonna wait for him to get for a few minutes. All right, let's go, right? I'd like to call this meeting, the December meeting of the Manchester Township Board of Education to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Jenner.
Here.
Mr. Scardi.
Here.
Mr. Gulch. Mr. Staples.
Here.
Ms. Mount.
Here.
Ms. Pease. Ms. Hudak. Mr. T.
Here.
Adequate notice was published on Saturday, December 18, 2020 in the Asbury Park Press. The Manchester Times was advised specifying the time and place of the meeting. A statement to this effect shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting. Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act permits exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist. Now therefore be it resolved by the Manchester Township Board of Education as follows. The public shall be excluded from discussion of hereinafter specified subject matters. The general nature of the subject matters to be discussed is legal personnel negotiations. It's anticipated these matters will be made public within 60 days. This resolution shall become effective immediately. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. All right, we'll be back in about a half hour, so. Oh, actually, not done.
Hello, hello, anybody? Chris? All right.
What's that? It stinks together.
Oh, yeah. Older. What do you mean by old?
I mean, oh. Okay, I think I'm on now. All right. I'd like to reconvene the regular meeting of the December meeting of the Manchester Township Board of Education. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Jenner. Here. Ms. Biscardi.
Here.
Mr. Staples.
Here.
Ms. Mount.
Here.
Ms. Hudak.
Here.
And Mr. Pate.
Here. Please join me in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello?
All right.
Am I on?
Report of the board president. I don't really have a report this month. We're just treading water and getting through the best we can, guys. That's really what we're doing. And I think the administration has done a fantastic job of doing what they have to do. And looks like it's not going to go away anytime soon. So we're just continuing going on. We're going on. I have to say this year, the holiday season, the just-in-season of the holiday season, I've done all the concerts at the different schools and see the students performing and doing the things. Kevin's kids not being able to come together as a community to serve the children that needed a little help right now doing those kinds of things. Those things hurt, but everybody's hurting, so at least across the board, I guess. But it is kind of sad to see those kinds of things and not to see football playoffs and not to see marching band competitions. And pretty much, I guess we're going to have, I just doubt we're going to have a play in spring, right? Right now, that's,
We're planning.
are we? Okay. Okay. I know some schools are planning on doing a virtual play and stuff. But it's just sad and it stinks, but that's the hand we're dealt. We have to deal with it. So but I do want to thank all the staff for all their work over the last 4 months, getting to the point we're at now. And let's just go forward and do the best we can and make the best we can out of it. All right, Mr. Cusway?
We have one presentation today, and that is a special recognition for our own Mrs. Hudak. So let me just say a few words, and then we'll present you, thank you, Mrs. Hudak, 9 years on the board. Goes by quickly sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't, but the one thing I always say when we talk about board members is you just hope that they're there for the right reason, and we've been very fortunate here in Manchester. Mrs. Hudak has been here for the right reason. She's always been an advocate for the students at all different levels, whether it's AP students, special needs students, basic skills students. She's always been an advocate for that. She's basically she's a teacher herself, so she comes from that aspect of knowing it and knowing it. But she's also a Manchester resident, I believe, graduate of the high school, correct? I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. Okay. But she has always been on the board, and you always look for a board member for a voice of reason. And superintendents look at things in a certain way. They're involved with the school district, but it's also important to get board members who are in the community, who have had children in the community, have experience as a teacher, to be that voice of reason. So whatever decision she makes, she made, I think whether yes or no, basically it was always based on what's best for the students, what's best for the parents, what's best for the staff, but most of all, what's best for Manchester. So she was always been respectful and knowledgeable. She knew, obviously, what the role of the board was, and she was a strong advocate, as I said, for all those people. She knew the difference between the role of the board member and the role of the superintendent. She basically reminded me that a few times with the role of the superintendent, which I appreciate. But the most important is that she was always ethical, and basically, again, all her decisions were based on what she felt was best for our students here. So I want to congratulate you and thank you for 9 years on the board and for really some outstanding service to our district. So Jen, congratulations. We'll miss you.
We have a plaque. You see that? I'll read it here. It says, Distinguished Service Award for Jennifer Hudak. The Manchester Township Board of Education commends you for 9 years of dedicated service to the district, students, staff, and community of Manchester. Your leadership and years of service demonstrate excellence by example.
Yep. Cool.
Or do you want me to come down? No, stay there. Right here. Thank you. I don't think my microphone's working. It probably is, but I'm the only teacher who works at a technology school who doesn't know how to use technology.
No, you're not.
But I do. I just want to thank, Mr. Trethewey and all of the board members. This was a difficult decision for me because I have been doing this for 9 years, and I did join the board because I grew up in Manchester. I graduated from Manchester High School. My husband and I moved from Monmouth County and decided to raise our children here, and Manchester has always just been a part of who I am, so I'm going to try not to cry. But at the same time, my own children are getting older. I have 2 in college. I have one left in high school, and I really just felt like I was at a point where I wanted to, try to squeeze out every last moment with them that I can. So, again, it was difficult. I'm going to miss my daily talks with Dave. I'm sure he's going to miss hearing from me. I have him on speed dial, but I think everybody's here for the right reason, and I know we have some wonderful board members joining the board in January. And, as Mrs. Pedrosa said to me, I'll still be around. You're not getting rid of me, so thank you very much for everything.
It wouldn't be the same without a hawk pin, so there you go. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
All right, Mr. Trethewey, you have the rest of your report?
Yeah, it's a tough act to follow, but we'll give it a shot here. Just talk a little bit about where we are in the district as far as, I'm sure it's on the topic of most everybody's mind, the status of the schools in the midst of really unprecedented increases in the positive cases throughout the town, throughout the county, throughout the state, throughout the country, throughout the world, basically. But as the number of positive cases continue to rise throughout the county and our town, the school district is also showing some signs of an increase. Over the past few weeks, we've been informed of several positive cases for both staff and students in our schools. And while these cases have basically initiated outside of school, we have to be extremely cautious in identifying the close contacts. This has caused the demand for more substitute teachers in our schools, and we are closely monitoring the situations in each school. The Board of Health has been extremely aggressive in trying to determine who close contacts are, and once you have a positive case, if you're identified as a close contact, that basically eliminates you for at least 10 to 14 days. So our staff has picked up a lot of the slack and has been extremely flexible in making sure that we adapt to the teachers, and many of our teachers, even though they may be a close contact, continue to work remotely, although they're not in the school. They do work remotely, and we've been able to kind of have our regular staff try to do some supervision in there, but again, the teachers have shown some great flexibility, and I appreciate that. I will have to say, and if the trend worsens, and if some places we feel that the safety and health of our students become an issue, or if students can't be properly supervised, we have to consider moving to a remote-only option. We've been very fortunate so far in Manchester where those times have been very limited. But while we realize the importance of in-person instruction, and again, As good as remote instruction is, there's just no replacing the teacher and the students in the classroom in that interaction. That's very difficult to duplicate. So I'm asking our staff and our families to just be extra careful as we approach the holidays, because much of the increase that we've seen has been suspected to be a result of the Thanksgiving vacation. And we're all optimistic in the development of the vaccine that we can begin to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But we have to continue to practice the social distancing, the mask wearing, and to avoid close contacts. And just as you know, as a district, we continue to work with the Ocean County Board of Health in each case, and they've been tremendous assets and information people for us. Just as a summary, district-wide, we've had 34 confirmed cases since the beginning of December. 15 have been students and 19 have been staff members. So again, I'm asking our staff and families, please continue to be aware of the safety protocols and travel advisories as we approach the holiday season. Any decisions we make regarding remote will generally be done on a building-to-building case. There have been exceptions. Moving forward, it will most likely be done on a specific case. In one case, we had the Ridgeway School out for a number of days and the rest of the district on. So most of those decisions will be done basically on a school-by-school basis. While the governor's executive orders are still in place, school districts have the option to move to a remote day instead of your typical snow day. And that was obviously been a discussion in the media. While I know many people like a snow day, these days need to be made up either by adding at the end of the year or taking away days from the spring or winter recess. So at such an early time of the year and so many unknowns, this could develop into an issue if we have multiple days off. If there's a power issue, which we've had before, then that becomes a day that we need to make up. Additionally, because of our schedule, we don't have the luxury of having it delayed over. So in many cases where it might have been snowing early and we might have been able to get the day in, if we do a delayed opening, the way we are now in our hybrid situation with a 5-hour day, we can't. That's not an option. So at this time, in the event of an inclement weather, the district would probably be moving to a remote day, and all in-person instruction would be canceled, including kindergarten, preschool, and special class. But again, that can change depending on the circumstances. I did have the person from the media ask me, does that mean snow days are dead? And not necessarily. It all depends on the situation. At the end of the first marking period, we were able to accommodate 182 students who moved from remote only to hybrid instruction. 77 also requested a change to go from in-person to remote. But again, we've had the space, we still maintain the health and safety protocols, so 182 students who were originally on remote only have come back into the buildings on a hybrid. We originally were looking at possibly getting them back for 4 or 5 days, but obviously with the increases, that's not an option right now. But they are getting some in-person instruction, that's been a big help. On a different note, I'd like to recognize our school nurses who really have done an outstanding job in working with our staff, students, and acting as the go-between between the schools and the health department. There's no question that they have gone above and beyond, and I'd like to formally recognize them later at a Board of Education meeting. I get calls on a Saturday, a Sunday, late at night from the nurses saying that they've just been contacted and they've done a fantastic job in being that resource for our health department. Speaking of staff recognition, we were scheduled to recognize our 2019-2020 teachers and educational support from our elementary schools, and also recognize a staff member, which we were scheduled for some heroic actions that she did in the community. But since our previous meeting was canceled due to the threat of a possible storm, we decided to recognize that staff in January, so they will still be recognized. Along with that, it seems a little strange, but as we're starting to finish our recognition for our 2019-2020 teachers, we have just named officially our 2020-2021 teachers. And just to give them some recognition, Ridgeway was Crystal Policastro was the Teacher of the Year, and Linda Gianolis was our Ed Special, which was our nurse, our educational service professional. And Regional Day, Mr. James Gunn was the Teacher of the Year. Mrs. Nancy Thompson was the Ed professional. She was a paraprofessional. Renee Strange in the middle school is our Teacher of the Year, and Susan DeLillian was the Ed Professional of the Year. She's also a paraprofessional. And here in the high school, Rachel Kelly was a Teacher of the Year, and Joni Pasalakwa, who was a paraprofessional, was also recognized. MTS, Laura Weaver is a Teacher of the Year, and Allison Simone, who was a child member of our Child Study Team, was the Ed Service Professional. And Finding and Weighing, Jennifer Carr is our Teacher of the Year, and Lisa Mitchell has been our Ed Service Professional of the Year. And as you know, this year, one of our teachers was named as County Teacher of the Year, and that's Lucy DeLeo, so we're very proud of that. A couple other things that have been happening, and sometimes we lose sight of that, but we did have sports seasons during the fall. And I'd like to congratulate and recognize our head football coach, Brian Wilkinson, his staff and his players for a successful season. Coach Wilkinson was selected as Coach of the Year in the division, Coach of the Year for the Shore Conference, NJ.com Coach of the Year for Shore Conference. So congratulations to Coach Wilkinson. Also want to congratulate Coach Madison and his staff and his team for winning the Central East Regional State Sectional Championship. So we're going to be recognizing them later at the
For
board.
boys soccer.
Yes, and we plan on recognizing them probably at our January meeting. We also had a successful season of boys cross country under Coach Griffin. They were 7-0, undefeated in division. That's the first division title since 1997. So congratulations to Coach Griffin. 1997, is that the year you graduated, I think, Kevin?
Yes. Mr. Mahoney and I, we graduated in 1999.
And finally, our girls tennis team finished 10-2. The only two losses going to Donovan Catholic. Congratulations to somebody who's been a fixture here in our district, Coach McKenna, and the girls tennis team for a really successful season. Hate to do this. Finally, okay. Our high school chorus team, and this year has been really challenging for a lot of programs that we sometimes take for granted, and Mr. Tate talked about that. For example, our music program. I know my wife and I, like most everybody here, really look forward to the holiday concerts. They do a great job. Unfortunately, this was not possible this year. However, we do have some creative teachers, I will say, and I need to mention they're trying to do their best to keep the traditions alive. So I'd like to commend and recognize our music teachers throughout the districts for continuing to look at different strategies. So, first of all, our high school chorus teacher, Mr. Weaver, presented a Christmas Carol as a radio show. The performance streams online for 5 nights. It started on Sunday night. It goes right through to Christmas Eve and takes place on a live program because of the coronavirus pandemic. The performances are 8 p.m. each of the nights and involve nearly 50 students. The music, including the members of the concert choir, the after-school choir, and the music theater workshop. Mr. Weaver said the students are developing acting skills and learning vocal techniques, while they're also learning how to record and edit using a digital audio workstation. Along with the new skills, the goals for the project is to have fun and create something for others to enjoy during the holidays. So the tickets can be purchased online, and I happened to listen to the production on Sunday. It was like an old-time radio show, and the kids and Mr. Weaver, who have a major part in it.
You might want to describe what old-time radio show is.
I was just
Most of
gonna
our audience
say,
members. You and I know what that is, but the rest of the people do not know what that
Some of
is.
us may know that remember that there was a radio and they had just programs. It wasn't just music. But my wife and I actually listened to the program, and I have to say, for those of you who might have fond memories of a radio program, it really was fantastic. From the acting, they did some singing, the intermission, they had the chorus singing. The program was really first rate. And one of the things that they did was part of it, which you know, is the sound effects. They had a group of sound effects did, and they did a great job. I thought the one where the young lady came in and asked Scrooge for a contribution, and he said no, and she stormed out, and it sounded like a herd of cattle leaving because of the sound effects. It must have been a 500-pound woman, I guess. But they did a great job on every part of the show, and I got to congratulate Mr. Weaver for keeping something alive and being creative. I know Mrs. Culp has done some things too. She submitted individual recordings of the holiday songs, and they think they just released them today, so I just started listening to them, yes, okay? So the students and administration and parents will be provided with a link so they can enjoy the video for the holiday. I just received the link and I said I had just started to listen to it, they did a great job.
Could you send out the links to all of us, please?
Yes, and that's, I think they just put it on the webpage, but I will get that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it just came out right before that, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's 2 hours ago, right? Yeah, okay. So, yeah, we'll get that out, but that's, again, they did a great job. Mrs. Baldelli in the middle school is currently working on doing a virtual performance for the winter holidays. And students are being recorded individually and compiled into one video, and they're gonna do something similar that the high school did. Mrs. Condardo is also doing something with the vocal. Elementary band program, which is on hold right now, but I hope we'll begin to, we have some lessons beginning in the new year. The chorus program in the elementary and middle school are doing the best and filling in whatever possible. But again, the plan is to provide more opportunities for the music program, because it's an important part of our school, it's an important part of the student's education. So our teachers really, in some difficult time, they should be commended for keeping the students interested in participating in the music program despite all the obstacles. And lastly, the last tradition that's truly unique to Manchester is the Kevin's Kids program. And as Mr. Pate said, it's a little disappointing we weren't able to do the wrapping and so forth, and in fact, the original thought was it would not be able to keep this tradition alive. And I know I never know the answer, but this program has been going on for, do you have an idea? How long?
38.
38 years, okay, 30, so something to lose on that. And again, it's truly unique. When I talk to other superintendents in other districts, they have no idea what that concept is, and it's really something very special in Manchester. We thought it was going to be going by the wayside because obviously the pandemic, but the staff in the community refused to let it go, knowing full well that some of our families are in more need this year than they've ever been. It took a little different look this year, but the Kevin's Kids tradition continued. So we plan to recognize the people that kept that alive. And again, I'm going to ask Mr. George to talk a little bit, and we'll mention this in January, but just give us a little rough idea of how things went, because I happened to be there on Sunday, and there was a lot of stuff in that Ridgeway gym. So talk a little, can you just give us a little summary?
Sure, it's really wonderful to report, and you talk about 38 years, and it's just amazing how this community responded this year. It's really nothing short of inspirational. And you know, you talk about when you get lemons, you make lemonade. We were able to provide the holidays for close to 375 children, over 175 families. And I think some of the magical things that happened during Kevin's Kids, you know, there'll be times where we set up, and we had some additional challenges this year because with the work going on at the middle school, the North Pole was originally, so big thanks to Mrs. Mazer and her staff for hosting us. All the building committees and all the creative fundraising ideas that they came up with, the community at large. But there are times where we'll realize that we're looking for some items out of donated things, and someone will say, oh, we just got elementary age twin girls, but mom said they really need to have the same things. Wait, there's 2 makeup sets. There's 2 art sets. And you just say to yourself, like, something else must be at work here right now. Or, you know, this year, bikes has been a big part of the drive. And never was there a time where we wanted to get students' bikes to be outside, but we said going in, there's no way we're going to be able to get bikes. And Mrs. Moore has a connection at Walmart and Brick, and they were fantastic. We get a call on Saturday morning, I just put together 20 bikes. If you can get here, they're yours. And we go over and purchase 20 bikes and come back. And the excitement around being able to provide that for our community this year was really amazing. And so we're going to recognize some people in January. And Patty Krishik is a retired paraprofessional who is Mrs. Claus in the North Pole. And Jessica Browsden is the person who kind of keeps everything on track. And so many people to thank, and we'll do that in January. But it was truly an inspirational year how we were able to do it. And again, not having some of the wrapping and some of those traditions was difficult, but lots of smiles and grateful families on Sunday when we picked up.
Yeah,
So,
I don't think you had any disappointed families, I can tell you that.
Yeah, that's for
They're
sure.
all very appreciative.
That's for sure. So
Thank you, Alex. And again, we'll do some recognition in January. And last, I'd just like to Again, wish everybody a happy holiday, a safe holiday. Please be careful. I know it can't be exactly the same as all of our holidays, but any attempt that you can make to reach out to your families is probably, that's what the holiday season is all about. So, happy holidays, and that ends my report.
All right, Mr. Lorenzen?
Just a couple quick things. Budgets for the 21-22 school year have been submitted. I've started the budget review process. What's interesting about this budget process coming up is we're kind of preparing a couple different versions of the budget because we don't actually know how we're going to be back in school next year. We are planning as if we're back in regular sessions, but we are going to have some alternative plans just in case we're not. So this year we'll have a couple of unique challenges that we haven't really faced before. When we come back from break, the central office staff will start meeting with the departments and schools to kind of go through their budgets a little bit. And then, typically in February, we'll have our 2 meetings in February with the Board of Education so that they can present their budgets to the board, and then we move on from that point. At this point, it's too early to say what's going to happen with state aid or anything like that, so we're just building the expense side of our budget right now until we get more information on what's going to happen with our revenues. There's a couple resolutions on the agenda. One is to submit an application to the USDA National School Lunch Program grant. And what this is for is when we are back in regular session, this grant would be for 2 pieces of equipment that will help increase our participation in our breakfast program at the middle school and high school. This would be no cost to the district, obviously, if we get the grant. So that's what the application is for. This was done by Pontonian. They sent it up to me. I've reviewed the grant, and Dave and I discussed it, and it's just on the agenda tonight for approval to submit it. We received some additional money under the CARES Act. I reported back a few months back that our initial grant approval was for about $477,000, and CARES Act funding is earmarked for hybrid learning, PPE, cleaning supplies, technology to assist with remote learning and that type of stuff. There was additional funding that was given to us, another $25,000, so we will put that into the pot as well and continue to use those funds to continue to make sure that we are providing PPE for our staff, we're providing technology for our kids, for our teachers. We are getting softwares that we need to assist with remote learning. We're getting supplies that we need to make sure we keep the buildings clean, and just go from there. And then lastly, the board will hold its reorganization meeting on January 6th here at 6 p.m. At that meeting, we will swear in our re-elected and newly elected board members, and it'll be a brief meeting. We will have election of officers at that meeting, and there'll be a couple other things that we'll do. We will set the meeting schedule for the upcoming year, and a few other things that we have to do at reorganization. And that again will be on January 6th at 6 p.m. at the high school. That's my report.
All right, any board member reports?
Yes. First, I'd like to start off with saying thanks so much to all the teachers, administrators, and school staff for working so hard to make things happen in these crazy and chaotic times. I'd also like to say good job to all of the students. You made it to December. You've got this. Special thanks to Miss May and all of the other teachers who are doing their best to make the holidays special for the kids and building our elementary school memories. I absolutely love the party in a bag that you brought to your students. Another parent could not sing enough praise about Miss Jovanowski at Manchester Township Elementary School. She absolutely loved the SEL activity you did the other day where the kids got to share and ask questions. And I'm actually stealing that idea from my own students after the break. All of the teachers who are part of my daughter's middle school team are great. I would like to mention Kelly Shinnery by name. My daughter's 7th grade class surprised her with signs of thank yous. I think it's amazing that a group of 7th grade kids put this together on their own, and I want to thank Ms. Shinnery for the profound impact she has made on all of her students. Congratulations to all this year's teachers and ESPs of the year. Manchester is lucky to have you. I'd like to say thank you and goodbye to Jen Hudak. Thank you for serving our community for the last 9 years. You'll be missed. Thank you for being my unofficial mentor as I learned the ropes of being a Board of Ed member. I'm sad to see you go, as you are a great human. I look forward to working with Mr. George Shavanek and Mrs. Laura Wingler next year. And this afternoon, before coming to this, I had the opportunity to look at Miss Colt's band show that she put out there. It was really awesome how she still got to bring the spirit of the holidays together. And I look forward to watching Mr. Weaver's Christmas Carol one night this week. And I just want to say I hope everyone has a happy and healthy holiday season. I'm done.
Thank you, Ms. Mount. Anyone else?
Yeah, I actually have just a short thing. One person that we didn't mention tonight that I recently saw recognized as our school resource officer, Victoria Raub, who received the Fallen Officer Jason Morales DWI Award from the Ocean County Police Traffic Safety Officers Association recently. So congratulations to our SRO. I also had the opportunity to speak with our instrumental music teachers throughout the district, and I have to say I was really impressed with the submission by Ms. Drew for the elementary music program to make that happen. And I appreciate the support that they have been getting from their administrators to get that program going again soon after the first of the year. On behalf of myself, I'd like to also thank Jen Hudak for her 9 years of dedication to the board. You've been an inspiration to me in my service here, and I appreciate all the guidance you've given me as well. And want to wish everybody out there the happiest of holiday seasons. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else?
Yes, I just wanted to share that I probably printed about, well, let me back up, hold on a second, because I really need to compliment that concert band. That was number one. And I have to say that, I don't know about everybody, but I wasn't feeling the Christmas spirit. But when I watched it, I don't know, it was wonderful. The kids did a great job, they really did, and the teachers, fantastic job. I'm definitely going to watch it again. And then I'm also going to watch Mr. Weaver's performance of the radio show. That sounds like a great time. I really look forward to that. But kids did a great job, really good job. I attended about 9 county meetings and county association meetings throughout this past month. It's kind of strange I didn't have any meetings this week other than a board meeting. So, but I'm just going to recap just a couple things that I really want to share, because one of the biggest things, and Mr. Trathway and I have been talking quite a bit about social emotional learning, about the children and the staff and the families and what they're going through right now. So I attended the Bergen County meeting, and Bergen County, they have some really great programs there. In a new Milford School District, they have a really good a social emotional program that they reach out to the kids that are really struggling. The parents are reaching out to because they're having such a hard time. So there's a lot of groups that are meeting. They talked about some great ideas. The superintendent of Ramsey, Matthew Murphy, he also talked about his programs. And one I really liked, I liked all of them, but the one was what's called a warm line. When children are feeling overwhelmed, parents get a phone call. The parents might call and they get a phone call back within 30 minutes. A counselor's there, and there's no worrying about insurance, which is a really wonderful thing. So that's Matthew Murphy from Ramsey, and maybe we can reach out and talk to him a little bit more. He was talking also about some training in mental health first aid. They're creating a curriculum for the 9th graders to do. So if they come and they get into situations that they can't handle, they might have the skills set now with this curriculum in place. We talked about parent groups and student groups that are meeting quite a bit. The mental health talk that he does, he has a YouTube channel, and parents go on there and they listen. But the big thing I got out of Mr. Murphy was, he said the COVID will go away, but this social emotional part will get worse. And we need to do what we need before this gets too big. So I'm telling you right now, this is something we really as a board, we are looking at. I know in January we're going to be talking about some things as well. Atlantic County, I attended their meeting, and this was more about social emotional learning. I took this because it really relates to what's happening now, that we are in a crisis mode of teaching. This is what's happening. I think everybody can relate to that. less is more at this time. Slow down, you know? I mean, even in general life, I think everybody needs to slow down and just really realize, you know, and then we need to think about these tests that are coming up, you know, like maybe looking at how this is going to go, the state testing. I mean, it's still happening. Things might occur. I don't know. And then Burlington County, they talked about adverse child experiences called ACEs. There's 10 types of ACEs that are out there right now. There's one that's pending, which will probably be the pandemic. But in Burlington County and Atlantic County, in Burlington and Cape May, they talked quite a bit about, well, once we identify these social emotional issues that are going on with the kids, these ACEs, and by the way, we all have some sort of ACEs. It's just learning how to deal with them and putting interventions into place. That's so important. And I talked to Mr. Trackaway about a gentleman that works through Cape Regional Wellness Alliance. He's willing to talk and share some ideas about how the staff and the families, they can have some skills, they can have some interventions in place. So, you know, stressed brains don't work. And we're all feeling the stress. But think about our kids. Think about our teachers. Think about the staff. I know the administrators. I asked Mr. Trackaway the other day, how are you doing? You know, Mrs. Pedroza, how are you doing? That's important. Everybody needs to take care of themselves through all of this. So that's the biggest thing I can tell you. I just kept getting addicted to all the ideas on social emotional, and I'm going to be reaching out some more to these people who I've spoken with. I also just want to say thank you, Mrs. Hudak, because you know what you did. How many years ago you reached out to me and said, you know, Melanie, you should run for the board, and I thank you, because that's women powering in women, and I value that and I appreciate that. So you encouraged me, and I thank you. I also just want to say happy holidays to everybody. Be well, be safe, take time for yourself. That's my report.
Okay. Anyone else? Do we have any public participation for agenda items only? The crowd was quiet. See no one come forward. Mr. Ransom, do we have any old business or any correspondence?
We have no old business, no correspondence, and we have no email from our live viewers either.
Okay. At this point in the program, we typically take over doing the business section of it. Tonight, I want to break quorum a little bit, if I may. And although the president usually handles this section of it, I'm going to ask Ms. Hudak.
You're doing it.
He just wants you to run this portion of the meeting.
I thought I was going to get through this whole year without having to do this. No, you need to tell me what to say. Come here.
All you have to do is go through the section A minutes, numbers 1 and 2, have any discussion, and then not, then just go into a roll call.
Okay, we do roll call.
Yep,
Okay.
roll your sleeves up, let's go.
Thank
No, not that they get rowdy.
You could if you'd like.
If you want to, that's fine.
Okay, starting with section A, minutes, numbers 1 and 2.
Motion?
Motion?
I make a motion.
Second?
Any discussion?
Mr. Jenner?
Yes.
Ms. Biscardi?
Yes.
Mr. Staples?
Yes.
Ms. Mount?
Yes.
Ms. Hudak?
Yes.
And Mr. P?
Yes.
Okay, letter B, number 1, letter B, travel, number 1. Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Any discussion?
Mr. Jenner?
Yes.
Ms. Biscardi?
Yes.
Mr. Staples?
Yes.
Ms. Mount?
Yes.
Ms. Hudak?
Yes.
And Mr. P?
Yes.
Okay, letter C, the USDA FY 2020 National School Lunch Program Grant, number 1. Motion?
Motion?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, can we just get a little clarification on this?
Yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier. So this was a grant that Pomptonian submitted to us, and what they're looking to do is they're looking to get 2 pieces of equipment that would assist in increasing participation in our breakfast program. It's basically a kiosk. Now, obviously, we won't be able to use this now because we're in hybrid and we're doing remote meals basically, but once we're back in session, if we do qualify, we do get the funding, we'll purchase this equipment, and with the hopes that it will increased participation at the middle school and high school breakfast program.
Middle and high school breakfast, thank you.
Will the free breakfast and lunch program, will that go on till the end of the school year, or what's the timeline now?
Yes, currently right now, what they're calling the summer seamless option is extended through the rest of this school year. Beyond that, I don't know what'll happen, but that will be available to students for the rest of this school year.
So all students can get free breakfast, free lunch, and take enough home for the holiday breaks?
Yes, yes, we will be doing actually tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be doing a pickup at the middle school and at the high school from 9 to 12. And they will provide you enough meals for all of next week for the winter break. And when we get back after the break, we'll start discussing the possibility, because we are able to do it, providing meals for weekends as well.
Thank you.
Okay, roll call?
Mr. Jenner?
Yes.
Ms. Biscardi?
Yes.
Mr. Staples?
Yes.
Ms. Mount?
Yes.
Ms. Hudak?
Yes.
And Mr. Payton?
Yes.
Okay, letter D, the CARES Act allocation, number 1. Need a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Okay, Mr. Jenner?
Yes.
Ms. Biscardi?
Yes.
Mr. Staples?
Yes.
Ms. Mount?
Yes.
Ms. Hudak?
Yes.
Mr. Payton?
Yes.
A, administrative, numbers 1 through 4. Any motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
I just want to commend the Ridgeway School, because it seems like every month we're approving donors choose supplies that they're filling out the grants for, which I'm sure takes a lot of time. So I think it's pretty awesome. And like I said, good job Ridgeway, because I see your teachers' names on here all the time.
Ms. Kelleher is on there quite a bit. Good job.
Yes.
Mr. Jenner?
Yes.
Ms. Biscardi?
Yes.
Mr. Staples?
Yes.
Ms. Mount?
Yes.
Ms. Hudak?
Yes.
Mr. Payton?
Yes on 1, 3, and 4. I'm going to have to say no on number 2. I just don't understand the scope of it and the way it's worded and stuff. I just don't see it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Letter B, personnel, numbers 1 through 19.
23.
23.
Oh, I'm sorry, 23.
Oh,
Gosh, sorry, I missed that.
I'm nervous, got a bad agenda. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second?
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Jenner?
Yes.
Ms. Biscardi?
Yes.
Mr. Staples?
Yes.
Ms. Mount?
Yes.
Ms. Hudak?
Yes.
And Mr. Payton?
Yes.
Letter C, student personnel. Need a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Jenner?
Yes.
Ms. Biscardi?
Yes.
Mr. Staples?
Yes.
Ms. Mount?
Yes.
Ms. Hudak?
Yes.
And Mr. Payton?
Yes.
I'm sorry. D, special services, number 1. Need a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes. Last month, I can't recall if we approved 2 or 3 kids for out of district, and now if this gets approved, we're approving 3. As a special ed teacher and a proponent of special ed, I'm not suggesting that all students belong in district, but at the rate we're going, I want to publicly say, I think we need to revisit the idea of creating more in-house programs, so that way we can keep more kids in district, as it's very expensive. Like I said, I'm not saying all kids should be in Manchester schools, but I think we need to see if we can come up with a few more programs.
Actually, I have one thing to add too, and maybe Mr. Wilkson, I think you're here. The students that we are sending out of district, being that we're on a hybrid or remote scenario, the programs that we're sending our students to, what kind of interaction are they having with their staff?
It's a really good question. We had intended to bring 4 children back right now, the second part of this year. They would be going from a 5-day-a-week program to a 2-day-a-week hybrid program. It's not the best thing for those children. Spoke with Ronnie Anderson today. His child study teams made the decision to have out of district placement. that we always have a child first day. She told me today that she has 4 kids slotted to come back next school year. That's just Ronnie Anderson. So, you know, although things seem inflated at the moment, particularly because of movements and the needs of the individual children, it's a little bit higher, but I think by the time we get to next school year, it'll be back to normal. But I'm not going to recommend bringing kids back from the 5-day-a-week program to a 2-day.
That's understandable, thank you.
When we do bring kids back, hopefully like you're saying next year, is there any way that like maybe you can announce that at the meeting so that way we, the board, and then the public would know like, hey, you know, we're sending 2 kids out, but yeah, we're bringing 4 back?
Yeah, that'd be totally up to the superintendent. You know, I don't make those decisions.
Yep. We'll talk.
All right, if there's nothing else, then roll call.
Okay, Mr. Jenner?
Yes.
Ms. Biscardi?
Yes.
Mr. Staples?
Yes.
Ms. Mount?
Yes.
Ms. Hudak?
Yes.
Mr. Coop?
Yes.
Letter E, athletics, numbers 1 and 2. Need a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Discussion?
Yes, sorry. I noticed that for middle school, the basketball for the girls and boys schedule is there. I guess we're probably not having wrestling because it is such close contact.
No,
That's
move
been
back.
moved.
Move back.
It's been moved April.
And what about
March and
cheerleading for
April.
the middle schoolers?
That's moved to a section 2, so
Yeah.
they're all moved into different tiers. I don't know offhand.
Normally basketball starts the end of November.
Yeah.
This year they moved it into the middle of January, and they also moved girls volleyball, which is a fall sport, into March and April, and the boys from March and April, May to May and June. They've scooted everything back, trying to give as much time as they could
Right.
for a lot of sports.
If they're pushing cheer back, typically at the middle school level, they cheer for basketball. So if they're pushing it back, will it just be a competition-based team or? who are they gonna
No,
cheer
I think
for?
they can cheer. Again, there's something to, they're limiting the number of, well, they're not gonna have any spectators at the games, whether it's high school or not. And cheering will be up to the different districts, whether they're allowed to have cheerleaders at the event or not. So it's something we'll have to look at, but I believe they can cheer at the games. If we allow them, we certainly could do that. But the cheering schedule has been moved back depending on where, I can't remember offhand where it got locked into. But it could get moved in back accordingly.
I mean, we are restricted by what the NJSAA has.
Well, no, not in the
dictated.
middle school, we're not, but basically the county is decided to follow, and the short conference has basically decided to follow the NJSAA.
Okay,
The middle school, you don't necessarily have to, but we are following the same time.
fair enough.
So we're not restricting attendance at games, there's no attendance at games,
Right. It would just be the participants and possibly the cheerleaders and so forth.
not even the parents? I know
Not
some
at this
places
point,
they don't
no.
have their parents.
Not at this point.
Oh.
Will the games be streamed so that way
Yeah,
parents can watch?
that's been the push is to see whether we can now, and we did a good job on our football. I think Mr. Eckert basically volunteered and did a lot of the taping of the games, did some soccer, did some football. So we would certainly look into that. If it stays with no parents involved, no spectators, then we will look at that.
Well, the way the numbers are now, they're not gonna change that.
And that's where we are, so we're at that point where it's not happening.
Thank you.
I actually have 2 questions regarding this. One is, I don't see anything here for winter track, but I thought that
That's-
winter track is also starting in January, or am I mistaken about that?
I thought we
I think we had that on the last
Might have been
month's
last
agenda.
year.
I don't
Last month.
feel like we did, because I felt like at that
Okay,
point.
and if it was, if it did get moved back, we would have, but I do believe the coaches do that. And again, I'm not sure, now we're talking about you're talking about high school or middle?
Middle school and high school, I don't see any more track, so.
Yeah, I thought we had, I will certainly
I
check
think
that.
so, too.
I thought we checked that, but
Yeah.
I'll double check that.
Okay.
No, that's no problem. And I think there was a conversation of moving winter track because of the facilities.
Yeah.
We were able to get the facilities, so that could have been a move back too.
All right.
But,
I think it's about looking at the competition schedule with the number of athletes that would need to be at the venues.
Right.
Because unlike cross-country, there's not going to be dual meets, it'll have to be,
And there's just, the practice facilities are very limited.
I have one more question, and I'm not quite sure where to ask it, but, since we're approving sports schedules, and it had me thinking about approving, coaches, stipends and everything, I was thinking about, the fact that we had approved a while ago, for a drama director and musical director for the spring musical. Now, when you were talking about, Mr. Weaver and everything that he's done, and Mrs. Holt, are there any plans for a musical? Because I know a lot of schools are doing virtual shows.
They are looking, I believe they have their first meeting, I think it's today or tomorrow. I think they have their first meeting.
Okay, because I hadn't heard anything, and like I said, I know, I see on social media,
Yeah.
other schools doing
Yeah, I
things
believe
virtually.
it's, I forget.
I thought there was something planned for
Something in the
April,
woods. What is it?
outside in the park.
Into the
Okay,
woods.
all right.
Into the woods, yeah, that's.
Literally, yeah, like right outside the woods.
Yeah, no, I don't mean that's where they're practicing.
Okay.
Yeah, but I believe they had the meeting.
That'll cut down on the need for a scenery director.
Okay, all right. I guess we're good then. Roll call?
Mr. Jenner?
Yes.
Ms. Biscardi?
Yes.
Mr. Staples?
Yes.
Ms. Mount?
Yes.
Ms. Hudak?
Yes.
Mr. Pete?
Yes.
Okay, A, finance, 1 through 5. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Okay, Mr. Jenner?
Yes.
Ms. Biscardi?
Yes.
Mr. Staples?
Yes.
Ms. Mount?
Yes.
Ms. Hudak?
Yes.
Mr. Pete?
Yes.
Do we have any public participation on any items? Seeing none, you can call for a motion to adjourn and bang the gavel if you want.
Make a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second, whatever.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned.
Okay, adjourn.
If anybody can hear me, have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday.